Our reading this morning is a well-known reading by Elizabeth Barrett Browning. How do I love thee? How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and the breadth and height my soul can reach when feeling out of sight. For the ends of being an ideal grace. I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with a passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with a love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life. And if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.
Several times over the last decade, we have been asked to look at the priorities in our lives. Walking the Camino up and down the mountains of Spain with my daughter Nancy for 10 to 12 miles a day to the Cathedral of St. James in September of 2016 was one of them. However, for me, the highest expression of love in my life came from giving birth to two daughters on April 8th, 1974, and April 18th, 1978. They have and continue to teach me all the lessons I need to know. Some have been very easy, and some have been extremely difficult, but I am very grateful for however they showed up. Lisa Ellen Julie, my firstborn, came with the present of my most important title, mother. She was born at St. Luke's Hospital on Oak Street in Middleboro. She was due March 28th. I learned that one has to be open to life as it unfolds. With Nancy Joy Julie, because she was going to be surgically born, I wanted it to happen on the first day of April vacation. But the doctor felt it would be best for Brockton Hospital to wait till a Monday when there would be a lot more staff around. They were both so beautiful when they were born, according to everyone who came to see them. Because Lisa was placed in an incubator immediately after she was born, I had to wait till the next day to see her. Herman Hesse in Siddhartha says that one of the three most important lessons in life is the ability to wait. Today, Lisa and Nancy are close friends as well as sisters. But when Nan was in her carriage on the front porch of our home, Lisa pinched her. When I asked her why, she said she didn't want me to have her. I had to realize feelings are often short-lived and change completely. So many people, they look so much alike. So many people would not be able to tell them apart. When I got divorced, I caused the girls great pain. It was something I believed I had to do. We all had to work it out for ourselves, but I so wish I had known how to help them more. I had to learn that we can only do our best, and sometimes that's just not enough. There was a time when I thought I had all the answers about how my daughters should live their lives, and unfortunately, I told them so. Today, I have discovered I have all I can do figuring out how to best live my own life, and they are able to live very meaningful lives totally on their own. They are magnificent just as they are, making wonderful contributions to the world and to me. I will end with one of my favorite authors, Leo Buscaglia, who said, "When I love another, he or she becomes my mirror, and I become her or his. And reflecting in each other's love, we see infinity." And now I invite the people who are going to share their stories to come up.
I thought we were supposed to talk about love stories. Is it not working? 62 years of marriage plus years of courtship is a lot of loving. Much too long a love story to tell in a few minutes. I'll focus more on love right now. It is greater and deeper than ever. Almost daily, I am aware of how fortunate I am to be married to Deanne. I have deep respect and profound admiration for her. I feel incredibly lucky. Our marriage is a partnership in which we share resources, responsibility, and talents. We share in little things like cooking and household chores, but we also share in planning our days and our years together. We've encountered many changes in our 62 years, which have brought challenges to our relationship. We've weathered many storms together. We've been able to talk things out and work things out. Respect and support goes both ways. We now have some confidence that we can cope with stuff as it comes up. We have a foundation of shared values, and we value that each of us have different talents and interests. We respect each other's need for space. Deanne has a much larger social network than I, and I enjoy many solo activities. Since retiring, I have found an acceptance of myself and of my limitations. I am who I am, and I'm a person who is still learning and still growing. This has been a real joy and a peacefulness, and this joy is carried over into our marriage. Our love is still growing. One of our earliest joys in our relationship was good kisses. This pleasure has been consistent throughout our marriage, and kisses continue to be an essential part. Hugs and kisses continue to be an essential part of our love.
I originally told Vi, when she was developing this program, that Jim and I would talk about antique love, since both of us feel like we're rapidly becoming antiques. That started my thinking about the ways that having a long love is like caring for a valued antique. But this metaphor began to feel forced and eventually dribbled out because another thought kept intruding. That thought was that the thing for me about a long love is how surprising it is. I find myself surprised to be married for almost 63 years and in love with Jim for years before that. Someone said that love lasts when both people think they're the lucky one. It's certainly true for us. In preparation for talking about this, I looked up what other people had to say about love in long marriages. It seems that people have a lot to say about, and especially a lot of advice for keeping love fresh over long periods of time. They offer dozens and dozens of rules. As I read through them, I was amazed to find that Jim and I had probably broken 90% of the rules for keeping love alive, and yet here we both are. I'm also astonished to find that after all these years, marriage and love still entail a lot of work. I had somehow assumed that when one had been married for so long, that love would just flow, and that our lives and journey together would be smooth. But like life itself, love grows and shifts, and often on different timetables for each of us. Just as we may be getting complacent about our relationship, some new twist challenges us. These challenges require us to come back to each other again and again, to explore further what we thought we already knew or what we thought we had already resolved. I'm frequently reminded that love does not solve all problems, nor does it iron out all the wrinkles in a relationship, but it does provide the motivation to do the work. But the biggest surprise at this point in my life is how rich and deeply fulfilling and meaningful love is, and how often it's the source of unexpected joy. We laugh more easily and more often with each other, sometimes over things that would have infuriated us in the past. We forgive transgressions much more easily, and frequently look to do small things for each other just to see the smile on the other person's face. I remain surprised that a person that I think I know so well can still have the capacity to surprise me. Such love has enabled a radical acceptance of life. When I despair, our love gives me hope. When I hurt, it offers comfort. When I delight, it multiplies the delight many times over. And every time I hug this man beside me, I know I really am the lucky one.
Thank you so much, Deanne and Jim. And now, Janet will tell us about what love means to her as a gay woman.
Okay. So some of these thoughts come from years of being a therapist. Some come from personal experience, and some come from just thinking about it. This topic was difficult to zero in on, and I found myself reflecting on the various ways I have experienced love, especially romantic love. For example, From 19 to 49 years old, my romantic love interests were men, and I truly loved my husband of 14 years. At age 50, I met a woman whom I came to love, and that relationship has continued for 31 years. The relationships were different, but the love was not. Now this is a little bit of a public service announcement. In a blurb that Vi sent us, a cardiologist spoke on love, and one line read, "It means accepting another for who they are, flaws and all." As a retired therapist, this line gave me pause because I have heard it said too often when someone is discussing their partner's behavior. That is just who they are, implying what you see is what you get, never to change. Standing alone, that is a great statement of acceptance, but it has its limits. Yes, you cannot change, nor should you try to change another, but we can change ourselves. Sometimes the most loving thing a person can do in a relationship is to have boundaries for your own well-being and that of the relationship. My thoughts on communication. It is a very misunderstood part of a relationship. The ability to let go of a desire to win a disagreement often stops us from deep listening. But it is in that genuine listening that we truly get to know our partner better. If both partners can do this, then resolution of issues often becomes easier. Crucial to good communication is the ability to be vulnerable and to trust that your partner will never use that vulnerability against you. Love has empowered me to speak my truth, to be vulnerable, to communicate my needs directly, to share responsibilities according to my strengths, to acknowledge my weaknesses, to move through my daily life without feeling the need to pretend, and to not fear being judged, and to sing and dance despite my lack of abilities. But most of all, love has empowered me to be the person I choose to be. It has left me emotionally safe. And then I'm going to end with, this is part true and part humor. And to the major difference between my loving a man and loving a woman is, and this would apply to any gay relationship, is with a gay partner, we have the advantage of speaking the same language.
Thank you, Janet. And now Bill is going to tell us about a relationship that he had with his friend, Mary.
Janet said something that's so true. Love is the same. And I'm talking about friendship. I guess three avenues maybe for reflection. In 1969, I took on the task of creating the business side of the medical school at Brown. And the first person I hired was Mary to handle human resources. We worked together for the next 10 years, getting the medical school going from a business side. And then we became friends gradually over that time, got to know each other's spouses, and then as kids came, we got to know them, and our relationship just continued to grow. We each went through a divorce. We got new jobs. There were moves across the country for Mary. She lives in Denver now. And through remarriages and grandchildren, and now kind of getting on in years. But through all of that, we've been there for each other in a huge variety of events, whether getting drunk together as youth with our various spouses or going through death in the case of her second husband. But all of that, with different conditions and different emotions, has meant that she now is a rock for me, a home base. No matter, what I'm going through, no matter where I am, I believe completely that she is there for me and, if necessary, with me. And what a difference that makes in my life. So to the second side of this would be connection, acceptance, home. These things we all want. We may call them different things: love, caring, attachment, because each of us, at least to some extent, realizes that we are very, very small in a huge universe, and we are aware enough to realize that our identities may well be our own invention. Life confronts us with constant uncertainty and self-doubt and reasons to be afraid, or at least maybe for some of us we make a lot of effort to protect ourselves from that realization. But Mary not only provides me with connection and acceptance, but for me, she also connects me to myself from long ago, and in many guises. And so through her, I am able to see myself in much richer colors than at any point in time. So I am so lucky to have another who, enables me to experience myself in a very different way and accepts me and is there for me. What a gift I've been given. The last thought, sort of more one of historical context. It expands our world into the dimension of time when we have a friendship or relationship long term. It is a sad loss for many of our young who have been pushed into feeling that the internet must connect them to 24/7 to now. We do not only progress through life. As we age, we also carry our history with us, opening up broader perspectives and context and understanding. So adding years, and in this case with a friendship that went along with it, is not just about coping with more aches and pains, but it's also with having more of a single entity to have around us, ourselves. And it's only with others and only with relationship that we can have that. So it brings an awareness that transcends our own egos and allows us to see that we're an integral part of an epic. In any case, I want to thank Mary. And I loved hearing what each of the others who spoke on this subject said. We all share love, and we are very lucky. And I feel very lucky to be a part of this church.